This naughty boy always lived carefree and merely had any goals. But one day a deadly monster returns and turns everyone else into stone statues. Now the naughty boy has to find the secret weapon and save the whole world. Thousands of years ago, a brave king was blessed with a baby boy whom he named Asura. The prince was brought up to become a great leader like his father, but Asura turned out to be a greedy man. He wanted to own great powers and rule the whole world, so he learned dark magic from evil sorcerers. Asura became able to absorb dark energy from human souls and became a powerful monster, Asura Moga. He remained unbeatable until a brave knight and his loyal friend stepped forward and forged a sword called Zang. Using this sword, the knight attacked Asura Moga's head and turned him into a stone statue. After the war, the knight disappeared while the sword was broken into 6 pieces. In the memory of this great war, the villagers built a temple around Asura Moga and continued living in peace. With passage of time, everyone forgot about this, and the current villagers don't even know about the temple. In the same village, there lives a little boy named Bayu who loves reading comics. Though he has no talent, Bayu still wants to become like the comic heroes. As the evening sets in, Bayu rushes back home, but an unexpected guest knocks at his door. It's a girl named Raney who came from the city to spend the vacation with her uncle. Bayu is meeting her for the first time and gets really excited. He doesn't have any siblings and often gets bored, but now he can play with Raney. Before they can get inside the house, a loud scream fills the atmosphere. It's a villager who just returned from the forest. He points at his head injury and claims that a demon attacked him. Raney gets confused and asks Bayu about the demons. He doesn't know much, but his dad always warned him to stay away from the northern part of the forest. People say that part of the forest is ruled by demons and monsters who attack anyone in sight. A few kids standing nearby start to make fun of Bayu by calling him a coward. When Bayu gets triggered, the bullies challenge him to spend a whole day in the forest by himself. Raney tries to stop Bayu, but he immediately accepts the challenge because it's a good chance to prove his bravery. As the night sets in, Raney enjoys a delicious dinner with her uncle and goes to sleep. The next day, Bayu gets ready for the challenge and goes to the forest, but Raney follows him too. Bayu is pretty sure that no demons will appear during the day, but he has no idea what the bullies have planned. They dress up as demons and get ready to scare Bayu. However, Bayu attacks them with his wooden sword and throws them in a giant pit. The bullies can't take it anymore and run away. Raney wants to return home right now, but Bayu starts running after the bullies. They eventually lose track and reach the forbidden part of the forest. It is full of demon statues centering the giant Asura Moga's temple. While Raney is staring at the statues, Bayu gets inside the temple. There he finds the legendary Zang sword and pulls it out. The sword starts shining and combines with Bayu's family necklace. Before Bayu can escape the temple, a weird explosion of light surrounds him. Raney finally realizes that Bayu is missing, and she starts looking for him. Suddenly, she hears a tiger roaring and gradually walking out of the temple. Raney screams in fear, but the tiger starts talking and explains that he is actually Bayu. The sword has turned him into a tiger knight. To check his powers, Bayu picks up a stone and throws it in the air. He starts jumping in excitement and wonders what to do next. But before he can, Bayu turns back to his normal self. He tries to become the knight again, but doesn't know how to do it. Raney notices the sword in his hands and immediately recognizes it as the Great Zang sword. She has read about it in the books and tells Bayu to put it back in its place. The sword is dangerous and it can attract dark forces. Bayu understands the consequences, but the sword has some connection with him. His pendant joined to the sword like a puzzle piece. Raney gets shocked to hear that, but she still wants to get out of this creepy place. Suddenly, the sky gets dark and the ground starts to shake. As the seal is damaged, the evil Asura Moga has awakened. He breaks out of the temple and attacks Bayu. His dad rushes to protect him, but Asura Moga turns the poor man into a stone statue. Bayu starts crying for his dad, but he needs to run away right now. Asura Moga is granting life to the demon statues and ordering them to capture Bayu. Luckily, Raney is still in her senses and helps Bayu run away from the demons. Once they reach a safe spot, Raney advises Bayu to think wisely. They can't defeat all the demons by themselves, so the best option right now is to inform all the villagers. Bayu agrees and follows Raney towards the village. Unfortunately, they are too late. Asura Moga arrived before them and turned every single villager into a stone statue. Bayu starts to blame himself and cries in helplessness. Suddenly, a talking monkey reaches there and introduces himself as a well-wisher named Empu. He claims to know everything about Asura Moga and the only way to defeat him. That monster was imprisoned by the magic sword for centuries, but it was supposed to return anyway, so Bayu shouldn't blame himself. Instead, he should learn how to use the magic sword to defeat Asura Moga. First of all, he must find the remaining pieces of the sword to gain the required powers. It will not be an easy mission for a little boy, but Bayu is willing to do anything to save his dad. Raney is also willing to join him as she promised to look after her little cousin. Empu feels proud of the kid's bravery and turns the magic sword into a necklace so it is easy to carry around. The next morning, they start traveling towards the northern edge of the forest. On the way, Empu finally reveals his real identity. He is reincarnated as a monkey, but 1,000 years ago, he was a brave knight who helped in defeating Asura Moga. Empu and his friend forged Zhang using the powers of 6 knights. Each relic piece represents one of the strongest knights ever born in history. Before dying, Empu's friend left some clues to find the relic pieces and complete the magic sword. Bayu is afraid of going to the underworld for the relic pieces, but Empu explains that everything is connected. The humans are already living between the two worlds without even realizing. After walking continuously for hours, Bayu and his team finally take a break. They get busy talking about the underworld and don't realize that someone is secretly following them. Meanwhile, Asura is also preparing to stop Bayu from completing the magic sword. He goes to the remains of his magnificent kingdom and wakes up General Nawara. Once Asura was defeated by the knights, Nawara took over the throne. He wasn't much powerful, but his evil deeds destroyed the kingdom. Asura doesn't like Nawara, but he needs help in getting rid of Bayu and the legendary knights who may have reincarnated already. Nawara is very clever and knows that Asura Moga is the most powerful right now. If he wants to live, he must obey Asura at any cost. Therefore, he immediately gets on his flying ship and starts looking for Bayu. As soon as Bayu notices him, he pulls out his sword to transform, but unfortunately, it's still not working. Nawara starts laughing at him and asks Bayu to give up the sword. A little boy like him can never handle these powers. Hearing this, Empu gets really angry and jumps on Nawara. Though he was a great knight in his past life, Empu is unable to fight like that again. All he can do is buy some time for Bayu to transform. Raney also grabs a stick and starts fighting the demons. Bayu can't see his friends in danger and starts recalling how he transformed for the first time. He finally builds a connection with the magic sword and completes the transformation. He becomes really powerful and defeats all the demons in mere seconds. Now it's time to get rid of the evil Nawara. He's not very powerful, but his dodging speed is unbeatable. Even after trying several times, Bayu fails to cause a single injury to Nawara. Seeing this, Empu asks Bayu to concentrate and use the magic sword. Just after one strike on the magic sword, Nawara falls helplessly on the ground. He finally realizes that Asura Moga hasn't returned all of his powers. In such conditions, it's impossible for him to stand against Bayu. Therefore, he immediately gets inside the ship and flies back to his master. Asura Moga gets really angry to see him empty-handed, but Nawara has an explanation for everything. He believes that Bayu is more powerful than he seems. Even Asura Moga may struggle to defeat that boy. Therefore, Nawara begs Asura to give him more power so he can find the relic pieces that will grant Asura enough power to defeat Bayu. Hearing this, Asura gets excited and fulfills all the requirements of Nawara. Later that night, Bayu and his team finally reach the abandoned library they were looking for. It is full of thousands of books, but Empu is looking for a specific ancient scroll that will give them a map to the 6 knights. It will have a stamp of a tiger's head. Raney and Bayu check hundreds of scrolls, but all of them are just sketches of different weapons. Suddenly, they notice an unexpected smell. It feels like someone is grilling fish nearby. Bayu is really hungry, so he follows the smell without a second thought. Surprisingly, he finds a plate of freshly cooked fish in the middle of the abandoned building. As soon as Bayu starts eating, a cage falls on top of him. It was a trap set up by the mysterious boy who's been following them for hours. He claims to be a resident of this place and asks Bayu and Raney to leave immediately. He clearly doesn't like guests. Raney refuses to believe him and asks the boy to call his parents. The boy doesn't cooperate and steals Raney's camera to force her out of the building. Seeing this, Bayu eats the fish in a hurry and transforms. He throws away the cage and runs after the boy but fails to catch him. The boy seems like an expert climber and also knows about the magic sword. Bayu can't defeat him alone, so he asks Raney to cause distraction. Seeing this, the boy uses a magic bracelet to stop time and escape the scene. Raney observed everything closely and guides Bayu in catching the boy. Afterward, they call Empu for investigating the situation. After hearing about the magic, M0V concludes that the boy learned from the scrolls because he grew up in this place. After untying him, M0V also points at the family tattoo on his arm. It belongs to the race of blacksmiths who forged the magic sword. M0V asks the boy to help them in finding the required map, and he reluctantly agrees. He introduces himself as Kuda, the only member of the 33rd generation of his family. He grew up in this place, and his grandpa often tells him the story of Asura. He never mentioned any map, but he used to collect a few ancient scrolls that may cause destruction by getting in the wrong hands. It's possible that the map is in one of those scrolls. Kuda knows the secret chamber where the scrolls are kept, so he asks everyone to follow him. Meanwhile, Asura is sacrificing human souls to get more and more powers, but he still needs 500 more to gain his full strength. Nawara is observing everything from afar, but he doesn't want Asura to take over the world. Instead, he wants to use the relic pieces to become the ruler by himself. Nawara also sends his magic bugs to keep an eye on Bayu, and that's how he reaches the library. Nawara proudly announces his arrival and starts throwing bombs inside the library. He really enjoys the screams of despair and jumps down to get the magic sword. Bayu has transformed already, and he gets ready to fight his enemies, but Nawara brought a new weapon. It's one of Bayu's village friends, Draco. Asura has sucked the soul out of Draco's body, but Nawara can still use him with the help of an evil mask. Bayu gets really angry and attacks Nawara, but he is also worried about Raney and others. M0V understands Bayu and asks him to keep Nawara busy while they try to save Draco. His body will turn into a monster if the mask is not removed in time. M0V tries his best, but he can't save Draco without some magic. Kuda suggests that they should remove the magic stone from Draco's body, but before they can do that, Draco turns into a giant snake. M0V volunteers to handle the snake and asks Raney and Kuda to get the map. Poor M0V almost gets eaten by the snake, but he doesn't give up and tries to remove the magic stone from the snake's head. Meanwhile, Bayu is really injured and can't fight anymore, but he's still worried for his friends. Seeing this, Nawara changes his plan and starts attacking M0V. He also offers to let everyone go if Bayu gives him the magic sword. Poor Bayu is stuck in the worst situation possible, but he can't give up so easily. The future of this world depends on him. Bayu gathers his strength to attack Nawara and wishes for his friends to find the map as soon as possible. Kuda has taken Raney to a special dining table and asks her to hold a fork and spoon. As soon as they slam their hands together on the table, it turns over and reveals the secret room under it. The reverse gravity of this room is powered by Kuda's magic bracelet and helps them walk around. After finding the required scroll, Raney and Kuda return to help Bayu, but the snake is following them. They need to find a way to get rid of this monster. Kuda suddenly remembers about the cages he has set up in every room of this building. The monster can be trapped in it, but someone needs to lure him. As Kuda is going to handle the switches, Raney has to become the bait. She is really scared right now, but still tries her best to bring the snake towards the cage. As soon as he gets right under the cage, Kuda pulls the switch and traps the snake under the cage. It may not hold him for long, so they must escape this building as soon as possible. Meanwhile, Nawara is still torturing Bayu and calls him an emotional fool. He also grabs the poor monkey and threatens to kill him if Bayu doesn't give away his sword. M0V is willing to sacrifice himself, but Bayu can't let them happen. He agrees to the deal, but his friends reach there for help. Raney distracts Nawara with the camera flashes, and Kuda uses this chance to rescue M0V. After getting their support, Bayu feels powerful again and gets ready to fight. His body starts to glow and all of his wounds are healed magically. Nawara is not holding back either and starts spinning like a deadly tornado. Meanwhile, Kuda jumps on the snake's head and starts pulling off the magic stone. He almost gets killed in this attempt but doesn't give up until he succeeds. The snake is defeated and Nawara is left alone. He uses all of his strength to attack Bayu and pins him to the wall. Bayu starts feeling dizzy, but then he feels a sudden connection with the ancient knights. This experience empowers him, and he pushes away Nawara. Afterward, he grabs his magical sword and defeats Nawara in a single strike. Nawara screams in pain and turns into a stone statue while Bayu gets back to his human form. He stares at Nawara, and his pure heart starts feeling sorry for him. M0V understands the poor boy, but they can't feel pity for monsters like Nawara. They feed on innocent humans to gain powers and deserve the worst fate. Hearing this, Bayu gets up to continue the mission and become a true knight. They have already found the map, but there's still a long way to go. Each relic piece is hidden in a different location, and the path is going to be really dangerous. Bayu gets a little nervous, but Raney and Kuda offer to stay by his side. After getting their support, Bayu ignores all of his fears and steps forward towards his next destination.